Are you ready to boost your confidence when selling so you're able to close more deals? Nikki Rausch will show you how to build a foundation of skills and a mindset that creates sales success without feeling pushy or salesy and without fear of rejection. She is a sales strategist and coach with more than 25 years of sales experience and is master certified in neuro-linguistic programming. This is a radically different approach to selling. It's a no sleaze, no slime, and no stress approach to building your business. This is Sales Maven. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch. I'm your own personal sales maven. I'm here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversations. Today is an on-air coaching call with one of my very favorite Sales Maven Society members. Kai Roberts-Fu is in the house. Welcome, Kai.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited you said yes. Okay, tell everybody about your super cool business and what you and your husband do.
All right, thanks. My business is Magnus Media Group Video Production, and we do video production generally for small to medium-sized businesses and associations of any size. It is the two of us. My husband is our senior videographer. He's been doing this for 30 years. I am a video editor. I do all the business development, and I am also what I call cat herder in chief, also known as production manager. And we go on site to most of our clients, although that has, of course, changed in the last year. But we are a mobile video production studio.
And with the change, let's talk a little bit about that, because I feel like you have really done a great job. You guys have done a great job of still helping people get high quality video that they can use to highlight themselves on their websites, on social media, other places that they would use video. And you've done this remotely. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys have done to make that, like that little bit of that shift in your business?
Yes, I can. In a perfect world, of course, we'd love to go on site and bring all the fancy lights and cameras, but it's not a perfect world. And a lot of us are ordered to stay home most of this past year, which gave us an opening to do something professionally that we've done for family and friends, which is remotely coach them, whether they're Grant's family in Hawaii or friends in California, to set up their video studio so that things look nice, the lighting is good, maybe coach them on mics, or even how to pace their voice. And then that gives that person, whether they're speaking to their family or they're a business person wanting to look more professional, that gives them the ability to do that on Zoom or record themselves for a video that would later be edited. And we also have been editing videos remotely. So we will coach people how to record it. They'll record it and send it to us and wind up with a finished product they can actually put on a website.
And I know because you have clients inside the Sales Maven Society, you've done videos, one in particular that I'm thinking about, Lori, her video came out so gorgeous. You guys did such an amazing job. And I don't know all the places that she's using it, but I know I've seen it on her website. I've seen it on LinkedIn. Are there other ways that people are using their videos?
Some of them are using them for social media. So it could be a little bit here and there, 15 or 20 second FAQs. We have a client out in North Carolina, also from the Sales Maven Society, who's getting ready for her business to start putting up frequently asked questions on health-related issues. So they're working on their setup right now, and we're eagerly awaiting the first test footage so we can start making those minor course corrections and help them get those videos produced.
That's awesome. I love what you guys are doing. And I think, I can't remember, maybe, I'm trying to think if did we ever meet at a speaking? I feel like I was speaking somewhere and you guys were doing the video for an association. Is that true?
Probably. Well, we've done several WBO events, and you came to the WBO event, so I met you there. And then for some of the luncheons and things, we provided tech support. And we did the video for WBO. So they did their 40th anniversary video, which is actually one of my favorite projects because it's combining history with membership and all this stuff. But we shot that one at 3 different places. So it was quite extensive, and there's a good chance you were at one of those.
Yes. Okay. That feels like, I was like, I know that we met somewhere, and I feel like I was speaking and you guys were doing the video. So, and I have seen some of the videos that you guys have done for associations and also people's live events when we get back to doing live events. You guys do that as well? Yeah.
Yes, I remember that well. We
Yeah.
do live business events. We used to do a lot of conferences. We would travel the country and record conferences. And you were speaking of the pivoting. Yes, my two biggest gigs of the year both had to cancel on March 13th of 2019. And then, life got really interesting after that.
Yeah.
So when the events come back, I really see the business growing beyond what it ever has been. But right now, until we can have live events, there's learning to promote all the things we do now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been really fun to watch some of the transition and how creative you guys have been. I know you put out an incredible newsletter that's got lots of great tips for people. So there's a lot that you are doing that lets people know, especially those who aren't that comfortable on camera. Kai and I were actually talking about this before I started recording. I'm like, I always do hide self view on Zoom. Like, I want to see you, but I don't really want to see me on camera. So, yeah. So I know that you're helping people with all that stuff too, getting really comfortable.
Well, I'm glad, and I actually all that content creation and newsletter, and even learning what it is clients must need to learn about. I've gotten a lot of that out of the Sales Maven Society. So just a little side note, how much working with you has interwoven with what I do to help us move forward this year.
Well, I love it. And I'm excited for you guys. And especially as live events come back and seeing what's possible, what's next for your business. So because this is an on-air coaching call, and I really could sit here and talk to you about video like for the next couple of hours, because I'm so fascinated by how people record their videos and use them and all the good stuff that you guys do. And when you really get a professionally shot video, it is night and day difference to, doing your own little thing on Zoom or on your phone, right? Like, it's so different. But because it's an on-air coaching call, tell me, how can I be of service to you today?
One of the things that has really been a struggle for me is dealing with the constantly changing environment. As for instance, one of the new things we've been doing are video tours. We got to do one for a memory care home up in Edmonds, which is north of Seattle. And first we got a rain out, and then we got a smoke out due to the California fires. And we finally went back and shot it. They loved it. They hired us to do 2 other videos. And then the week we were going to do that, the regulations changed and we can't go on site, and it's not something we can do remotely. So trying to navigate content creation and marketing and even my promotional offers in a constantly changing environment is one of the big things. And the other is when we do work with people remotely is what I can do to coach them into finishing a project. So what I can work into the sales process to make it more attractive for them to get things done despite their fear. So those are 2 completely different topics. Feel free to tackle either one.
Okay. Well, the first one about this idea of like handling all the pivots. I mean, really, it's one of those things, like sometimes it's day by day, sometimes it's week by week, and then month by month as far as what is possible, what's for you guys. With that in mind, though, the thing that I would really encourage you to pay attention to is that you have to constantly be showing people examples, I think, of ways that they can utilize your guys' service. So this idea of that you do have a video from doing a walkthrough of one memory care. Now this is a virtual tour. That to me is, if that video is done and you can share snippets of it in your own marketing, like reaching out to maybe places that don't have as strict of regulations. So I'm thinking, is that, I don't know if that regulation in Washington is specifically to like that age group, or if it's to, you tell me. It is.
Yes, so this one is more specifically to vulnerable populations.
Okay. So who isn't a vulnerable population, but still needs some opportunity to do like virtual tours right now that they couldn't really do before? And I'm not thinking like, I think what comes to mind initially is like real estate, but I don't mean real estate for you because there's probably a lot of competitors in that market. But there are other places that people will want to frequent and or see that they might not have been able to see, or they might need to see it now so that they can be booking out things for down the road. So who are those clients? Like off the top of my head, anything that has to do with venue, right? Because venue is something that people go and walk typically to assess, but they can't really walk venues right now. So could you guys go into venues and help them make these virtual tours?
Oh, definitely. And then you were saying that, it made me think too of remote workspaces. So when people go, they hire an office in a giant venue that's lots of offices for hire. And they might not want people wandering through just to check it out. But if they decided to get an office, then they could put all their regulations in place. So that's a good one. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's 1,000 times better than what I'm thinking. So I love that idea for you of reaching out and showing them and asking, like, is this something that you guys would benefit from right now? And would you be open to a conversation? Because sometimes, especially like, we're all kind of in this place of like, it's almost like, what am I trying to say? It's like we get frozen with, I don't know how to make my business work. But if somebody can come along and say, here's a way for you to highlight and show your business, when they're all like, a lot of people I think a lot of businesses are feeling like, I don't know what to do. But if you come along with like, here is a example of something that you could do, is this something you're open to? Well, that brings that fresh, like, oh, yeah, that is something that I could invest some money in, or that is something that would benefit us even after all of the, regulations and stuff are lifted. Because at some point we are going to get back, right? We're going to maybe not get back, but we are going to move forward in some way where we can get together again. I'm saying this and I'm going to like cross my fingers, like, right. I'm asking. But I think that's where we're going, right? With the vaccine coming and all the things that we've got going on, but people can still use those videos for virtual tours.
Yes. And I have a confession. Despite having been a member of the Sales Maven Society for a year and seeing how everyone else is providing a service, and it is good for them to be proactive and they're helping their clients by being an expert and telling them what they need, I am still so shy about pretending I know what's good for someone's business. Even if I do, I know how good our product is, but I'm so introverted, if you will.
Yes.
So can you do a little deeper dive on that whole concept of being of service to people, even though you're selling them something?
Yeah. And I would focus, especially for you, because I know you struggle with the introvert and the shyness. And honestly, and I know I've spoken about this on the podcast before, and I speak about it often because it's true. I am also shy. I am also introverted. I think maybe not in the same, like I'm not on the same spot on the spectrum that you are as far as shy and introverted, but I do fall more on that side of the spectrum than more towards extroverted and outgoing. And so the way that I would position it is through questions. Because now we're not selling and we're not telling anybody what's good for their business. We're asking them, is this something you'd find value in? And then you can share a story. Here's an example of something that we did for a company, and here's how they've been able to still highlight their business to potential clients. Is this something you guys would be interested in? Like we're really kind of digging in this place of asking questions. So I would almost say from the introverted and the shy standpoint, how do you feel about asking questions?
Oh, I love asking questions because then other people talk.
Yes.
My favorite.
I wondered if that would be your answer, because I will say that's mine too, right? Because if I can ask other people questions, I don't have to talk. I don't have to be the center of attention. They get to be the center of attention. So I would position it that way. Now, with that in mind, I also want you to consider that your business has to be treated like it's its own entity outside of you. So just like how you are, I feel like, you have this really, and maybe I shouldn't talk about this because I didn't ask you, so you can tell me if you want me to cut this part out. But I feel like you have a really strong relationship with your husband. You guys are proud of each other. Like the way that I see that on social media, would you agree? Or
that is accurate. Yes.
Okay. So just how you would be proud of him and what he brings to the table and who he is as a person, I want you to think about your business like it's something to be very proud of, to highlight. And so it's not that you are doing the look at me, look how cool I am, look at all the stuff that I do. It's instead more treating your business like it's an entity outside of you, and that it's okay to be proud and it's okay to highlight it for the benefit of the other person. So it isn't a like benefit for Kai. It's a benefit for the person that you're talking to around building credibility for that business and giving that potential client peace of mind that they are getting to work with an expertise like that is like no other, that the services that you guys provide, the value that you deliver to clients is exceptional, and that you can confidently look at this entity, this business, and say, it's going to treat you right, and I can confidently recommend it. Just like I've seen you do this with restaurants on social media. You guys have done some call outs for restaurants to support local businesses. I want you to think of your business as if you were highlighting another business in the community, because you've done a great job of doing that.
I love that. And in the way that you framed it, with thinking of it as someone else's business that I'm representing, it's definitely mine, and I love what we do. But the idea that I can be that proud of it.
Yeah.
Maybe my husband and I don't have kids, so we've never had the experience of going, I'm so proud of my child. Yeah. But we can say, I'm so proud of my business, and we can help you so much. I have story after story from clients who say things like, oh, everything from I thought the process was going to be awful and you made it really easy, to as soon as I showed someone the video, they're like, that's what I want. And they bought from me. I guess I just need to be more okay with sharing those with the world and not considering it bragging, but just statement of how it is.
Yeah. Think about, again, go back to this, the way that and even you might go back and look at some of your posts that you have made about some of the other businesses in your community where you've been highlighting these businesses, especially because of the shutdown and, wanting to support them. Look at the way that you write about those businesses and think, how can I take that and how can I, in an NLP, it's called, all of a sudden my brain just went like completely silent. It's called mapping across. That's what I'm trying to say. So you take something you do in one area and you map it across to this other. So if you were treating your business like it's one of these businesses you're highlighting, look at look at your structure of how you pour love, I call it pouring love, onto these businesses, and think, how can I pour love onto what our business is and what we're doing it? And so it's not you going like, hey, this is me, Kai, I'm a really big deal. It's just highlighting your business as if, I always say my business is my baby too, because I don't have kids. And so I always think like, this is my baby. I need to be proud of it. I need to take care of it. I need to nurture it. All these same things. And I'm also okay. I don't have the bumper sticker that says like, my kid is the honor student, right? But sometimes on social media, you have to be willing to share things that you are proud about your business without being obnoxious, right? Like the parent who's obnoxious about their kid versus the parent who is just really proud. And I want you to think about being really proud of your business. And then we're making a connection between this entity that you're really proud of, that you can confidently recommend, and this potential client who will absolutely benefit should they decide to move forward with you.
I'm nodding. No one on the podcast can see that. That makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Okay.
A lot to think about for my new content development.
Yeah. Okay. There was a second question I think you asked me. Will you remind me what it was? Maybe I went down a completely different route.
So when we have people who we do remote work for, so we coach them. Now Lori, who you mentioned, was an absolute rock star, and she just got things done and she turned stuff in. But I'm looking for ways to incentivize people, because it's great. They get started. We give them the coaching on their setup. And then the next thing is they send us test footage. But sometimes that just doesn't happen, which means we can never actually close the video out. We never get, we never get paid in full, basically, if they don't finish the project. and they don't get the benefit of the video because they haven't finished the project. So I'm looking for ways to incentivize them from the beginning to basically get their homework done, for lack of
Okay. So one idea that comes to mind, and you can tell me if you're already doing this or not, but your job is to make it as easy as possible for them to have success and to deliver on the deliverables that you need from them so that you can then deliver on the deliverables that they're going to get from you, right?
Right.
There's a lot of deliverables talk, but where I'm going with this is think about maybe outlining a potential calendar, right? Or having some type of a structure in place where you say, here is a good range of time for this, for deliverable 1. And you probably are going to want to block out on your calendar this amount of time. Can we go ahead and do that now?
Ooh.
Yeah. You're going to walk them through their calendar with you on that initial, like once they've hired you, once they've said yes, they've signed the contract, then I would schedule a time where we're going to block out time on your calendar to get things done. And we're going to give you the step-by-step of what to do on these. So go ahead and like cut and paste this, put this right into your calendar. So when this time comes up, you've got it blocked, you know what to do here. And then you and I are going to touch base. We're going to do a quick check-in, 2 days later to make sure it got done. And if it didn't get done, what would be the best step for you to ensure that you get it done? Like I'm going to push it back onto them then. And then I'm going to go, now let's get step 2 blocked out on your calendar too. Because most of the time when people are not delivering on their portion of in order to get things like moving, it's because they didn't block out time on their calendar and they just think, I'm just going to find time. Well, time is the thing that most of us are like, it eludes me. Where does the time go? I never know, right? So we have to really help them. So I would have a schedule and I would block out time on their calendar with them, like while I was on the call, and get it to where we get it to the end. Now, if they miss something, you want to have some check-ins with them and see, like, are you able to then deliver the next 2 pieces before this next due date?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's brilliant. And in a sense, it's like when you have a masterclass and I block out the time on my calendar and I show up because it's live and it's expected and other people are there, and I can block out that I'm going to watch a training, yours or anybody else's. But if it's not a specific time, it so often doesn't get done. So even from my own experience, knowing that not only is it blocked out, but that someone's going to be checking up or even right there while I'm doing it, it's much more likely to get done.
Yeah. And the more you can like hold the hand and lead without again, making, having them not take any responsibility, because they have to have skin in the game, right? They have to be as committed to the project as you are to a point, except for, the flip side, the downside to this is that if I don't get it done, I don't have to pay. Oh, so that feels like incentive. So there could be some other, I'm not a big fan of penalizing people, but at some point you can't be more committed to the project than they are. And so one of the ways that you could maybe put in there that should you miss 2 delivery days, then your full payment is due. We just did the carrot first, and now here comes the stick, right? That analogy about the carrot and the stick, right? Like some people will work harder for the carrot. Other people work harder to avoid the stick. We don't know. Not that I'm suggesting you beat your clients, but we don't know what people's motivational traits are. And so sometimes we have to give a little bit of both. I tend to be more like, I'm driven by carrots. If you reward me for things, like you'll get stuff done, you'll get stuff from me all day long. I'm not as like motivated by a stick, but I still will try to avoid it if possible, right? So we don't know your client's motivational traits. So let's build a little bit in there. And this, your payment, if we miss 2 dates, then we just charge your card in full for the balance.
That sounds good. Actually, we always take a retainer when we start coaching somebody, but it is that second half or second 2/3. And I think that would be very motivational, because once they've paid the full, they would probably want to finish the project and get the results, get the final product that they can then use to improve their business. So
yeah,
I will certainly mull that one over.
Yeah. And you might have to test it a little bit, but, and then it's so hard because as somebody who shows up with a servant heart and really wants to deliver for our clients, it's hard to walk away when somebody isn't invested because they feel like, well, they paid me money. And now I kind of feel bad. I really want to deliver, but you really can't deliver until they do these things. I have a client who, she's been a client for a long time. I love her to pieces. And when we work together, we get really great results in her business. And she's really busy and she constantly signs up and pays me money for things and then doesn't take advantage of them. And at first I got to this, I used to just eat me up inside. And then I got to this place where I was like, I can't be more committed to her success than she is. And I'll be here for her when she's ready. But she has let so many things expire with me. And I'm not talking a little bit of money. I'm talking a lot of money. And she keeps signing up for things. And so I make concessions for her to a point, but then there also is a point where I can be on a call with her and say, let's schedule your session now so that we have it on our calendar. It's the same thing I'm telling you to do with the client. And she'll be like, I can't do it now, Nikki. I'll just send me the link and I'll just do it. Well, I send her the link and then she doesn't do it. Right. And then I see her, she'll disappear for a couple months and then she'll come back and I'll be like, and she'll buy another pack of sessions from me or something. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, but I can't be more committed to it than she is. And I have to be willing to be there when she needs it. And once they've paid in full to you guys, your responsibility is to deliver once they do their part. And that's all it is. It's not your job to chase them anymore.
Yeah. And it breaks my heart because as a production manager, as a cat herder, chasing people to get the thing done that will help them is kind of my thing. But I also know things happen. And when I did start writing in the latest email campaign, which I've written after your workshop, it will involve more deadlines than we usually have, including it must be recorded within this window period. But circling back to the first topic, unless COVID restrictions, change that which is possible. So yes, I'm more able to put in some restrictions and some either penalties if they don't get things on time or rewards if they do, as long as there's some flexibility with our constantly shifting universe right now, then I think I can draw a better line, not a line in the sand, but better boundaries.
Better boundaries will actually benefit your business. And what will happen is most of the clients will deliver. They'll come through because you've made it as easy as possible for them to come through. Now, the ones who don't, you can't hold on. You can't be overly attached. You can't be more committed than they are. And as much as we want to help the people, we can really only help the people who are ready to be helped in the moment right now. And that's why I always say, not everybody's your client right now, and that's okay. And even if they paid you money, doesn't always mean they're your client right now if they're not willing to do their part.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The longest range I've ever had, quick story. Somebody hired us in December of 2019 to do an About Us video. Of course, in February, when they were going to shoot it, it couldn't happen. And then in the middle of the year when they were going to shoot it, they'd had a change in the business. We finally shot the video in December of 2020. And I just did a steady drip about every month. Hey, are you guys ready yet? And they did it. And it's a wonderful video, but he wasn't ready until he was ready. And at that point, yeah. And he had changed a lot of things that he wanted in that time frame, but now the video he has is going to be more evergreen. So,
good.
Yes.
So that's the thing. We just got to be there when they're ready and deliver and do our best. And yeah, I think for you, it's going to be building in time blocked out on their calendar if they're willing to do that. And you also know they're in, because I live in breathe my calendar. Like even yesterday, Melissa sent me some updates about you and she was like, hey, Kai wanted you to know this for the podcast. And I was like, please just put it on my calendar. Don't send it to me in an email, because if it's on my calendar, I'll be prepared for it when I get on the call with Kai. I won't be prepared if you send it in my email and I'll be like, I'll come back to that. And then I forget. Mm-hmm. Right. So, okay. All right, friends, this was really fun. As we wrap up today, I always like to end with 2 questions for you. The first one is, what's been one benefit for you being a Sales Maven Society member?
Well, to me, and a bit to my surprise, it has been being a part of the group and getting the feedback. When I first talked to you, I'm like, oh, I only want individual coaching. I don't do groups. But you had a marvelous special. And I said, okay, I'll give this whole Sales Maven Society thing a try. And then when I saw the way that you look at people's emails and make suggestions, when I was able to post things and get the other society members to get their input, and it has built this community of other really savvy business people that I can rely on. It has really been wonderful. And I'm so glad that you presented that opportunity so I could give it a shot. And maybe I can be a bit of a group person now, but it's definitely benefited my business.
You've been such a great member. And I do remember you were like, groups are not my thing. Which makes sense, right? Because you start off by talking about being an introvert and feeling shy. So I get it. And you've been such a great contributor to the group, both with the questions that you ask and also the way that you've contributed to other people too. And the fact that people are hiring you in the group because you've built such great relationships in there too, which makes me really happy. Okay. Now tell people who might need some support from you guys around their About Us videos or their virtual tours of their business. How can people get a hold of you?
Okay. The easiest way to find us is at magnusmediavideo.com. That's MAGNUS mediavideo.com. And there is a contact page there. So people can just hit that contact page. They can also sign up to get free DIY video tips on the website. But just to kind of set up a free consultation call, you can do that straight from the website, find a time, and we can either jump on the phone or Zoom.
Yeah, I love it. So check Kai out, go visit the website. If you missed this, that'll be in the show notes. All of her contact information will be there. You can connect with her. Come join the Sales Maven Society. You can connect with her there. And thank you so much, Kai, for saying yes to doing this on-air coaching call. I feel like you stepped out of your comfort zone to do this, and I'm really proud of you. Now, for you as the listener, I've talked a little bit about how 2021 is the year of the question, and I'm really committed to supporting my Sales Maven Society and also you as a listener to get you more comfortable with some questions. So I have a question for you today. I've already shot some training around it inside the Sales Maven Society. So if you want to know more about the question, how to use it in different scenarios, then come join and you're going to get some more training around it. But here's the question for the day is, what would be interesting for you to know about? And then you insert context. Now, I'm going to give you a little context here because I use this question oftentimes when people are like, tell me what you do around sales. Like that feels like a really generic, big question, and I could talk for days around it. And sometimes by helping to narrow the focus by asking what would be interesting for you to know about sales, somebody may come back with an answer that I wouldn't even know would be the thing they're interested to know about. And therefore, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time talking about something they're not interested to know about. And I can give a more succinct, clarifying answer to their question by using it. So there's a lot of ways to use this question. I love it. I hope you'll use it in your own business, and you'll find that you'll have deeper, more meaningful conversations with people by checking out when people ask you a somewhat general or big question. All right. So you're invited to join the Sales Maven Society. This is the best place for you to come to start igniting your own sales and honing those skills, honing that sales conversation. You bring your questions, you bring your situations and struggles. I will provide answers, trainings, and access to an incredible group of resources inside there with the people in the group. You can join the Sales Maven Society by going to www.salesmavensociety.com. This is a monthly membership. It's $147 a month. You ask one question and you get one answer in there that helps you close a deal. It more than pays for itself. And you can come and check it out for your first month for only $47 for your first month. So I'm going to give you a coupon code. So when you go to salesmavensociety.com, hit sign up, enter the coupon code 47trial. So that's the number 4, the number 7, and then TRIAL, and it will take $100 off your first month of membership. You'll see Kai in there. You'll see many of the people who've been on the Sales Maven Society podcast. They are an incredible group. They've got incredible resources for you, and I'm in there too to offer you assistance. So come join us. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.